Welcome back to another Millionaire in a Year series where I am sharing my entire journey of becoming a multi-millionaire in 1 year. This is a big goal and I'm doing it on camera. This is not just for the views. I am so committed. I am 9 months pregnant and I have been more inspired than ever. So in this series, we're going to share about investments we're making, habits I'm changing, books I'm reading, all of the different things in my businesses that we're planning to expand, and also just getting really vulnerable and down and dirty to like some of these very personal things like my broke ass thoughts, which we're going to discuss today, which is Rachel Rodgers' way of saying your limiting beliefs. So let's get into it. I bought a new notebook from Target, and you know when the girls buy a new notebook, that means it's time to get down and dirty, okay? So today we're going to be talking about my limiting beliefs, and it gets a little vulnerable to say the least. Today, I really want to discuss why I want to be a millionaire and kind of just set the stage, because it can be kind of confusing when I have a multi-million-dollar business, but I am not personally a multi-millionaire. Like, my businesses have generated over like multiple millions of dollars since we've started them in the last 5 years. But for me, it's like, it's more to it than the money. And I was really inspired to do this series by Rachel Rodgers' Audible called Plan Your Year Like a Millionaire. And it just really inspired me because I'm like, you know what, Erin, you can do this. Like, this is possible. And they say that the first $1 million is the hardest to make. And even though we've made multiple millions in Erin On Demand, we've never made a solid $1 million in 1 year. But I'm not even talking just about that. I'm talking about making $1 million for me personally. Like, I want my salary to be at least $1 million from my business. So that is really what I'm working toward. And in the Audible, Rachel talks about like she called them your broke ass thoughts. And these are the thoughts that are the limiting beliefs. These are the thoughts that like are holding you back. And I've seen so many small businesses start and fail. Most don't even make it to 5 years. So I'm so thankful for that. But it's like, I don't want to be the business that is just like, for one, riding on my personal influence. And for two, is not like expanding beyond myself. Although the impact is great when you have a following and you've built a community and there are people who are supporting you, it's still not quite the same as making an impact in a way where I have a full staff. We have a warehouse where we hold our products. We have great insurance for our staff. Like, we have like full-fledged systems and like we're running like a real business. I don't want to be stuck in the small business bubble. I really want to break through and have multi-million, even billion-dollar companies. And I can't do that if I don't cross this threshold of like at least hitting 1 million in a year for my business, and then also at least being able to pay myself $1 million salary. So it starts with like thinking bigger. And that is like one of the big reasons why I want to be a millionaire, for the economical impact, for the impact that it will have on my family, on my legacy. And just to like, I am a thrill seeker. Kind of. Like, I went skydiving and, you know, I like to take risks, calculated risks, but risks nonetheless. And I think that, you know, this is one of those things that will just be fun for me, because it's just like, can I do it? Is this actually something I'm going to do out loud and on camera? And I'm like, yes, actually. And I'm doing this because I want you guys to see that you don't have to, you're not special. Like, you don't have to do anything special. And I'm showing you these moments because it's like, I have to work through these things as well. Like, I have broke ass thoughts too, and they need to be addressed. So the first thing is like, obviously I shared a little bit about why I want to be a millionaire, but also just like from a legacy perspective, that is huge for me now that I'm pregnant and about to pop. And I used to say that, and this is the thing with like not just saying things to say them, but to actually meaning them. I didn't have this epiphany of doing this whole challenge until I got pregnant and I'm having a baby and I'm having a daughter. And I'm like, I want to be able to like build a legacy for her. First of all, I want her to see her mom in the most powerful, incredible way ever, like as an individual and as a mother. Not only as a mother, but like my mom is a boss. Like she is amazing. Like she's inspiring. Like she does the thing, you know. Like I want her to see that through my actions, but also I want to be able to provide her a lifestyle that lacks of nothing. Like I want to be able to pay for her wedding without a question, like whatever kind of wedding she wants, whatever kind of baby shower, bridal shower, like college, business ventures. Like I want to be able to obviously teach her how to be responsible and how to, you know, make her own money. But also like I want, as her mother and we as her parents, want to be able to like provide for our children in a way that they don't ever have to question. And so that part of the legacy is for sure way more, it sticks way more now than it did before when I wasn't pregnant or wasn't expecting or anything like that. So that has made a big difference in like my motivation and just my desire to even want to make more money. And it's not just making more money just to make more money, which there's also no problem with that. Like, don't let people make you feel guilty to wanting more money, because money gets you access. And like, that's another thing, is the freedom part. So like, I want the freedom to be able to live in whatever home I want, to travel to wherever, whenever, however. I want to be able to take my kids with me and like have first class tickets for all of us to go wherever. Like, I want to be able to just enjoy life in a way where money is not something that is holding me back from making certain choices. I want to be able to buy the best foods. I want to have a private chef. I want to, like, I don't want to have to cook for the rest of my life. Like, these are things that I want, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then, so legacy, freedom, and experiences, like those are the biggest things for me in terms of why I want to be a millionaire, and just like the overall impact in terms of, babe, yeah. Oh, and just the overall impact in terms of like being a woman and like them being able to spread my influence from that perspective. Like, I feel like it's so much more powerful when you've done the thing and you've made your mark in a way that is just like undeniable. Because I see myself in the future like doing lots of speaking engagements, being an angel investor into other women-owned businesses, Black women-owned businesses. Like, I want to do those things, but you need money to do that. So those are the big reasons why I want to be a millionaire. Okay, so we got through that, and I also wrote some of these things down. And kind of like the vision. I think I'm going to do a separate video on what my vision is, although I kind of feel like I spilled quite a bit of it out. But also, like, what are those limiting beliefs that I have right now? Well, I actually was on a call the other day, and I was on a call with one of my project managers who is like now a friend to me. Her name is Rima. Hey girl, because I know she literally watches all of my videos. She actually started as a subscriber, and then she's worked on multiple projects with us and has turned into a great friend. But something that she just told me yesterday was that I struggle with believing that I provide value outside of the information that I share. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. You know, like, I started writing a newsletter on Substack, and I have been wanting to turn on the paid subscriptions, but I haven't turned them on yet because I'm like, well, what is the value proposition for like the paid subscribers? And she's like, Erin, it's you. Like, share more of you. Like, share who you are. Like, give people the real Erin, which you guys get the real Erin anyway. But she's like, if you just give them more of just who you are, that is enough. Like, you don't have to be teaching all the time. And I feel like I've been kind of dabbling with that in my recent content of just sharing more about who I am and some of my thoughts and like kind of the chit chats and even with the newsletter. Like, those are things that are not necessarily as transactional as how to grow on YouTube, how to grow on Instagram, how to start a business, like things like that, but they're still valuable. And she's like, Erin, you know, you have to start looking at value differently. And you really struggle with not thinking that just you being you is enough. And I'm like, dang, that like cut kind of deep. And so I definitely think that is a limiting belief, because even though I have a personal brand, my personal brand has never just been me as a person. It's always more so been me providing something. And so I'm really taking a risk with having this Substack, especially with monetizing it and thinking like, will people pay to just know more about my thoughts, who I am, what I'm experiencing, and like also just having chit chats like this in my community on Substack and just sharing my raw thoughts as I'm thinking them. And, you know, sometimes the value is just like realizing you're not alone and realizing that there are other people who are going through the same thing as you, but you had enough courage to actually say it. And so how cool, she's like, how cool would it be for them to get to know you in a different way? Like, that's amazing. Like, people will pay $5 a month to, you know, access that. And it's not even just about the money. It's also just about like believing that people will even read the newsletter because it's not as transactional as a lot of my other content, especially on YouTube. So that has definitely been something that I am trying to process honestly right now, because, you know, I'm just kind of getting really into the swing of my newsletter and taking that more seriously. And also just, she's kind of like, just look at it as like, what if you get a book deal one day? And like, these are the things you look back on, like these posts and these stories and these mindsets, and like kind of like just your own personal diary that you're opening up with everyone. And it could potentially lead to something that may not have something to do specifically with like how to grow a business, you know? So I was like, okay, I can start to kind of shape my mind and think about it in that way. And I think being a part of like this business, kind of like the small business, how to grow social media marketing era of content creators, it can make you feel like you're not enough just for being you. And so that has definitely been something that I'm like grappling with. And then also just when you have not, like for me, having not been exposed to, well, I'm sure I have millionaires in my family, but like in my direct, like the family that I see the most, that I interact with the most, like money is not like a huge topic of discussion. And I would be like the first one, to my knowledge, that would be hitting a goal like this. And so to just not have the guidance or I don't know, like a real person example or somebody who's like really walking me through this, that can also make you feel like, is this possible? You know, like, how do I do this? Like, I don't know. It's tough. And then also, like, as you grow, you do start thinking about like, okay, well, like I would be providing a life for how many people? You know what I mean? Like, you think about the economy, like that's something that I think about, like the economy and people, like inflation, and I want to pay people how much they're worth, not just, you know, how much I think I should give them. Like, it's so many different things. Like, as you grow a business to a certain level, you think about taxes and like how much you're gonna have to pay in that, and like it's just a lot. And I think that these are all the things that kind of swirl in my mind sometimes, which can kind of keep you in the same, or keep me, I'm gonna like speak personally, like keep me in this same kind of window instead of breaking out and really tapping into what's mine, you know? So I'm going to write these things down in my journal. I really want this journal to serve as like a written document, like a living little breathing thing where I just jot random thoughts, notes from books I'm reading, answering certain questions that I have for myself, and just like trying to go pretty in depth and not like just grazing the surface. This isn't just content. Like, this isn't just for me to have a series on YouTube or for me to have a series on Substack or monetize or this or that. Like, this is real life. Like, I am really committed. And as far as like sharing income updates and stuff, I'm not really into that. If you don't trust me, then oh well. But I'm not going to be sharing like, this is how much I made this month and that month and this month and that month. What I will do is I will share, I'm going to do a meeting with my mom and just kind of break down some things that I really want to do this year. Like some of my big goals, we have restructured the Creator College to give it majors. So basically, before it was set up like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, you kind of got placed where you are on your creator journey. But this, like the way we've restructured it is we have different tracks. So we have bossing up on YouTube, we have influencing as a business, we have all these different majors, essentially like college majors. And so it's going to be, well, it is so much more effective to fast tracking your success. And the content is so good. If you've been in my eBrand Club before, we have added content and it's amazing. So you kind of go in, you pick your major, but the great thing is that you can do you have access to all of the majors and all the extracurriculars. And it's great. And so what I'm going to be doing is making KPIs or key performance indicators of like, how frequently am I mentioning these things in my content? How am I making sure that the content isn't just content for the sake of it, but it's actually income generating content? How many digital products do we need to sell every month? Like, I really want to break down those types of things, and I can do that on camera. Like, okay, for the membership, our goal, 1,000 members at $50 a month. That's $50,000 a month. For the newsletter, let's start with the goal of 1,000 paid subscribers at $5 a month. That's another $5,000 a month. Like, for, you know, whatever digital products I have, like, let's mention those in at least 10 posts on Instagram and TikTok throughout the month. Like, that's, if we sell 1,000 of those at $10 a month, that's an additional $10,000 a month. Like, kind of thinking through like, okay, let's look at every single product or service that we have. How can we interweave that into the content that I'm already creating to create income generating content on top of like AdSense and all of these different things, so that it's really running a pipe. And then that way I can focus on my top 3 content, scaling that business so that that is a whole nother stream of income that we are building, which that business is doing excellent. And we have barely even been marketing it right now. So I already know, like, once Erin on Demand is kind of like in this consistent flow, then we will have so much energy to just pour into the top 3. We have a new product coming. We're gonna actually announce it in the newsletter coming up. Also sharing some of our plans for that business as we like tighten up the branding and all of that stuff. So we have some really exciting things that I'm just kind of thinking through and trying to make sure that I'm thinking as like rationally as possible based off of what we've already done. And what I know we can do if we just put the work in. So I don't think that this goal is far-fetched, but it's still a huge goal, and it's even crazier to do it on camera. So, all right, I've been talking for a long time. Let me know if you like these kind of longer, just like brain dumps of videos, but this is kind of the vibe of what I'm going for in the newsletter, just kind of sharing candid thoughts. We're going to be bringing a podcast to the newsletter, and it's just going to be a fun time. So if you aren't subscribed to my Substack, please go subscribe. It is just such a great community that we're building over there. There's like probably almost 10,000 of you in the Substack community already, which is nuts. So I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.